Well, hello there, everybody. A little Steely Dan. I tell you what, best shows I ever saw were out there at Red Rock. Hey, how are y'all doing today? So good to see you as I get everything here together. How about that, Gilbert? Giving a shout out to my good friend and brother Gilbert. How you doing, brother? Give him a little positive energy. Sometimes people, it just, as you stay on this planet longer and longer, you have a tendency to reflect more, collect more, and sometimes, you just need a smile. Man, there I just froze up. Well, how did that happen? Okay, well, let's just see if that can work there. There we go. I was looking at myself and it just froze in time. So welcome everybody. Gilbert, we love you, man. Just sending you some love, brother. So I hope you're doing good. And I was freezing there as well. That was weird. They can't stop us. They can only yeah. I mean, what the hell was that, right? It's like, geez, that just doesn't even make sense. But we're back and we're live. That's what they tell us. Who knows? Happy Prosperity Monday, everybody. Speaking favor over us all. Nothing missing, nothing broken. And I think you're going to like today. Um, Want to also give out a shout out to, I believe, is Samar. Very lovely person. Reached out to me on LinkedIn and so had this opportunity to actually she wrote a great email, asked some questions, as to what is well, as I've said, this is the death realm. We think it's the living realm, but that's only because our species, well, the death thing is kind of a heavy thing because it means we're like here and then we're like night here. And that kind of sucks. And we like to think that being here is the here, it's all there is. So we're going to get into it. In fact, I'll read some of her comments back because I thought they were just very insightful, very good questions. And so I put together a presentation on this. So when we talk about nothing missing, nothing broken, you think about that. It's deeper than what even we can think about. We call it perfection, and that it is, but it's deeper than that. So hey, go all the way from Croatia. How you doing, brother? The doctor is in the house. Rick, good to see you. Loretta and Rob, how are you doing? Shirley, good to see you. Papa, Chris, Deborah. I know I'm probably missing others, but Nina, I saw Nina in there as well. Um, her and Robert do their show on Sunday night. You gotta check it out sometimes. Lost in Space. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Hello, Chris. And if I've said your name twice, all right, that's twice as nice. Anyway, so what got into this thing, and I think about this all the time. I look at things, and maybe that's what a philosopher's heart does, as a philosopher, an observer, an experiencer, and many of y'all the same way. I mean, you wouldn't be in here unless you not weren't a very deep thinker. And that scares a lot of people. I know. I see it more often than you can imagine. People just sometimes just look at you and go, "Hmm, I don't think like that. Never even had that thought." Now that you put that thought in my head, I mean, and they just short circuit. It's like, I know that that means something, but maybe not. So hold on one second. So think about it. In fact, let me do the presentation for you. I put this little PowerPoint. So, Lucky, how you doing? Good to see you. So hold on one second, folks. 'Cause- 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 Hey, you got several conversations going on at the same time. You're going to say, time out, one at a time, please. So that's how we'll roll with that. Hey, Trina, how are you? Got the show tomorrow with Trina. Hey, Miss Jenny. Stephanie, good to see you as well. Jackie, nothing missing, nothing broken. Lady Ellie. All right. So let me just present this because it's actually the first time that when you have that idea and that idea begins to take form, um, and as you examine the idea and then you look at all the evidence that either would support it or take away from it, and as you build upon that, it becomes much more deeper. I think about the energy that if I am energy, then what are we really saying? Because I hear a lot on other channels talking about how they're energy this and energy that, but yet it's within the confines of this duality thing. And that ain't cool either, because the duality thing, it's a trap. It's trap. Run, Forrest, run. Because once you get into it, man, it is a tough thing to get out of. And we are taught as a species that this is life. And that, we're scared to death of death because it scares us to think that you won't have any memories because memories identify you. They tell your story. And then you got situations where you have people who those memories start going away. And it's interesting because it's how we are as a species, the human mind, will start making up shit. And we'll believe it's absolutely the truth. Yeah. All right. So deep thinkers, let's get going. And again, thank you all for stopping in. Love, Joy, Wellness, Massage, how do you do? I seem to create opportunities that opposite of what I want, but have faith, patience, the universe, or whatever will help make it happen on with my actions. Spot on. Love that. All right, so check this out as I pull it up. So we know what the first and second laws of thermodynamics state, right? They state that we, or energy, is neither created nor destroyed. In essence, first law, energy is conserved. Its form can be converted, which means that it's in a constant state of change. Now, is the change a result of what energy is experiencing? Is it within certain dynamics that makes that the case? Physicists have their ideas. So the second law is energies can flow and equilibrate. So energies can flow. We're energy. So it means that we must be flowing. Then third, the law, driving force for equilibration, uniquely defined. So we have the evidence of this remarkable aspect of what energy is. Now, energy is defined in this realm, in this dimension. Our science is now beginning to reach out, whether, hypotheses of string theory, dark matter, we're still trying to figure it out. We're looking at the universe as it is and realizing that the more we look, like, something wrong here. The physics isn't matching up with the observation. All right. So we are energy. Would you agree with that? That if you're, in this realm, in a body, that something's animating the body. We have this unique ability that we have to eat dead things. And it's energy. It's really weird because we can consume dead things and convert it into energy. Wow. Now you apply the laws of thermodynamics on this and you go, that's amazing. We are these, we are energy. And I don't even think we fully grasp how deep what the meanings of that is. So amazing what we are. And if consciousness, now according to the third law, it can be converted, transmuted, transcended into another form. We are energy. Now, that is unique because in fact, we can measure it. I have a voltage meter right over there. You can measure the energy that we are. And again, this strange alchemy, how we can consume dead things is all dead. We convert that into living energy. Now think on that. Keep that thought there. So we are energy and we are spirit. Now, the interesting thing as energy, if we apply the laws, you were never created. Never. But you're going to say, but I'm here. Yeah, get that. Doesn't change the fact you were never created. And I'm going to show you why. So, as energy, we are above time. To be created requires that you are a part of a construct that is, no matter how you look at it, it cannot be infinity. Because even with infinity is still measured within the construct of time. We're above time. We are energy. Thus, where I made the statement, you have never been created. If we are truly energy, time is foreign to us. Only those that are held bondage to time itself would have the need for even the thought of being created. Thus, lost in space, you were never created. You're above the construct of time. Gets even deeper. This is just another realm or dimension. We do not know, because I'll explain to you, there is no such thing as all-knowing. We haven't even begun to fathom how many realms, how many other dimensions there are. Our minds are limited because we limit ourselves to it. And that's a problem when you begin to have science, you begin to have religion. They begin to put the chains, the locks. And the thing about it is, each of us were already locked in the room. And the thing is that we think there's no key, but we are the key. We find and define ourselves by this thing called life, death. Now, it's my contention that life, death is only in this realm. I'll show you my thoughts going forward. This realm is unique. There are others, but not like this one. Allow me to get myself out of that frame there. There we go. There are innumerable other realms, dimensions. Each is unique to itself. There can possibly be similarities with others, but probably the real possibility is that each realm is unique to itself. Now, this is the death realm. We mistakenly call life. And the thing about it is the reason why we like this realm, I don't know if all of us come back. Seems like some do, but not all. But what we find unique about this is that we as energy, this whole concept of death fascinates us. In fact, it's exciting to us because death, it's foreign to us. And the opportunity to experience is something apparently we line up. And we have laws here, and that's the other thing we have to talk about. But as energy, that's what we are. There is no truth other than this. Each of us are in our very fundamental form. We are energy. Got the evidence of that. Energy can be converted. It's the laws of this realm. Energy transcends everything, including the perception of reality. Energy is neither good or evil. It just is. Now, we always going to get in the discussion of morality, integrity, character. Those are just the rules. Energy, in its truest form, is outside of time, space. As energy, we take the form of spirit, or what we'll call spirit energy. Now, energy is incorruptible. We'll be talking about that. But the fact that energy transcends everything, like that, including the perception of reality. Reality is relative to the observer. Each observer sees reality differently, and that's what makes energy unique. Energy really cannot be defined per se. Now, as energy, we take forms. It allows us to intermingle into these different realms, these different dimensions. This is just one of, again, there is no number. So as energy, we take the form of spirit. Now, we know even from cases of the paranormal, orbs, and it is thought that orbs are a form of energy, that they're actually beings, spirit beings. Well, if the circular shape is the most efficient shape, then who knows? But the point is, we are energy and we are spirit. It is taught that we are energy and we manifest in the form of spirit that is capable of experiencing different realms, dimensions, and planes of existence. Some call it the living light. Again, it's still energy. Light is merely the effect of photons, unless there is a light that's above the light that we can perceive. I do believe there is. It's all about the experience. As spirit energy, we do not know all things, thus the reason and purpose for experiencing different realms and dimensions. No energy knows all things. Now, it's interesting because what is, and I ask this question again later, what is the purpose of knowing everything? You see, I disagree. I don't believe that that exists. Spirit energy has no need for the past or the future. We're not created in time. We're above time. We immerse ourselves into time to experience time. And we get trapped. We fool ourselves thinking that, well, the past is, the past. And you should, kind of look forward to the future, plan for the future. And, and somehow we find the now. And this is where we have this fear, this fundamental fear that, well, my memories won't go with me. Yeah, they will. They're a part of the energy construct, the spirit. With spirit energy, there is only the present. It is in the now. We have teachings, Buddha taught this. The point of meditation is to get into the place where there's only the now. And where there's only the now, it is the only portal, so to speak, that transcends above time. The now doesn't need the past, doesn't need the future. It always is, as we are. And so when it gets into this realm, we begin to see the dynamics of a third dimensional world, the world of matter, the world where corporeal form is required, but not always. Unless we say that the ether is another form of matter. And then we get into the theological debate as to, well, you have this spiritual realm, the ethereal realm. Science says that the possibility exists of this other realm, this other dimension. Okay, so if our science is approaching to it, our religion does that already. But the problem with religion, it's always future tense. And it is dependent on time. Without time, prophecy is of no effect. Prophecy would be useless. There would be no need for it. In each realm, laws exist. Every dimension has its unique set of laws. Each realm and dimension, again, has laws. Not all laws are laws in different realms. Each realm or dimension has its own set of laws. Laws are not transferable to other realms or dimensions. Spirit energy is only affected by the laws of that realm or dimension while in that realm or dimension. That's why we experience death. It's part of the laws of this realm. And again, we as spirit energy, we find it fascinating. The concept that there is this thing called death, that a realm could possibly exist that is made up on death. Hmm. That would imply that, gee, maybe we fucked up here. Maybe all of our theology, spirituality, our existence, our realities are built and based upon a wrong construct. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for someone wanting to control that narrative. Hmm. Dare we say the soul, but I get ahead of myself. If we are energy, if we are spirit, as energy, we take on the form of spirit. We are perfect. There's no such thing as imperfection. Not to us. No energy of any kind is imperfect, thus, no spirit energy can be corrupted. It's impossible. Good, evil are limited constructs and limited to this realm or dimension. Imagine another realm or dimension where death is of, it's not even thought of, that no one knows it. But you say, well, then how can you measure? Well, you don't need to measure. Your whole reason is to experience. That's all it is. To experience. Souls, are not spirits, and not all spirits have souls. Spirits can lose their souls. Souls are limited to this realm, apparently, and or dimension. Souls can't exist without spirits. Souls are created, whereas spirits are not. Now, you can argue on the merits of that. I'm just putting forth a thought, writing them down. To debate them, that's what it would be. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a great opportunity to really examine. And we get confused in this whole issue of souls. It's one that, we're going to continue to pick up on. So we have Aristotle's 19 evidences that a soul is immortal. The thing that still gets me, and someone wrote a comment and actually an email followed up with that, said they had never thought about the fact that none of these religions talk about the spirit. None. And it's further built around this idea that a soul is finite. It seems that the soul is indeed created by a force. I don't know what that force is. I don't know if that force is of a force of our nature, might be. But it does appear that there is a distinct difference between a soul and a spirit. Now, in my former religion, I know exactly the book, the chapter, and the verse. It's ingrained, And it's actually Hebrews 4:12, where it says the word of God is sharper than any two-edged sword, able to cut asunder, to separate spirit and soul, bone and marrow, good and evil. Now that's some wild stuff, man. You got to think, where is a person's mind to come up with that? It's like you look at it on the surface and you go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, and I did for decades, it's like, that's why you have people that, always got their Bible, because that's the word of God. They never define who that Christian God is, but it's the word of God. But it's still interesting in the metaphor that it paints for the mind. So you immediately get this idea of this somehow magical sword that has the unique ability to separate that is, well, it's not easily seen. I mean, you're talking of a concept, something that's intangible. And you're thinking to yourself, but wait a minute. All right, if I have a spirit, then who's superior here? Is it my soul? Is it my spirit? Is it my body? So who's in control? And if the spirit and soul can be separated, it implies distinctly that there is this other consideration that the spirit and the soul can still exist independent of each other. However, the soul is not the spirit, whereas the spirit is more representative of the soul and can take those attributes with it, not needing the soul. So then you have that's built on that you have this realm, Ghostland, that is where many soulless souls without spirits dwell. And all the soul has is its current memories, because there's no evidence that states that in the reincarnation, what is being reincarnated? Is it the spirit? Is it the soul? If the soul is more representative of the memories of a one who had a past life, then really all we have is this record of some soul, or was it the spirit of the soul, that experienced this experience. And so we're saying that somehow is transferable. Energy, maybe, but then again, is this really thought? Writer was talking to me, and basically he says, can you name me anything that's organic in its originality? And if we're in the cycle, then it merely means we're regurgitating nothing more than the dead. Because that's how the soul would be positioned, as a dead soul. Somehow or another being reanimated to suddenly be alive again, merely to experience the same sensations over again: pain, joy, sadness, ecstasy, orgasmic ecstasy, pleasure, desire, greed, hatred. I mean, you name it. So are we merely seeing then the repurposing, the reconstituting of dead souls that no longer have any spirits to them? Or what would be the purpose for the spirit to want to come back with the same soul? Now, in religions, all of them have they're vying for the soul, your soul. Apparently, your spirit cannot be corrupted, cannot be killed, cannot be destroyed, but apparently the soul can. In fact, you got the story of the current God in charge, where this genocidal psychopath is going to kill souls, that which it created, throw them into the lake of fire, wipe out their existence. So what's happening here is that spirit? No, because spirit can't be destroyed. So what's being destroyed here? Souls. The purification of your soul, the washing of the blood of your soul. Your soul will be refreshed once again. Where's my spirit? No. No, if God is existing, the theological debate, something created this. I don't believe that it's in the personification of a book that's writing of a so-called spirit. Or if you go by the narrative, then how did this spirit have the ability to breathe in a living soul? Just asking for a friend. So death is not universal in all realms or dimensions. Death is an experience that spirit finds compelling and to be experienced. As a spirit, death is a strange thing inasmuch we are non-time energy and we have no beginnings or endings. No one created us. This is what makes death so interesting to us. Like us, death has no beginning or ending. It is perpetual, ever regenerating itself. This we find to be exhilarating and, oddly enough, pleasurable. It is said at the moment of death, even no matter what kind of death it is that we think about what we don't want it to hurt. We don't want to have to suffer pain. But the thing about pain is that pain is merely a threshold to eventually orgasmic pleasure. It is said that when the spirit frees itself of the corporeal form, that it is orgasmic in its transcending nature. But still, we as non-time beings find this whole thing of death to be fascinating. And we immerse ourselves into this particular death realm. You see, death is life. Doubt me? Let me show you. Time and death coexist, but not in all realms, but in this one. We as spirit energy find time to be equal with death. Again, these are foreign to our being, and it is for this reason, again, that we come here to experience both. Think about it. It's like being on an amusement ride of cosmic proportions. We dip ourselves into this thing called time. And what we find is that within time, it is really death. And as non-time beings, again, we find this death thing, it's something to experience. It just says this is the reason for us coming here, to experience both. Where there is no time, there is no death. Spinner energy is outside of time and death and life. Death gives life meaning. The two are connected to each other. You can't have one without the other. You can't. It's an absolute impossibility in this realm. It gets even a little deeper than that. So about the soul. Not all spirits have one, and those who do are most desirable to other spirit energies. Souls, as I just spoke about, are not spirits. The soul has laws, the spirit does not. Laws to energy mean nothing. They're meaningless. Now, when we immerse ourselves into this realm, and if in fact we attach ourselves to a soul, or maybe one is assigned, I don't know. Maybe it's our innate ability to create, but it's also said, and several different religions teach this, that there are a limited number of souls. It is a thought today that we are in a time in history where there are more soulless humans than those who actually have a soul. Because remember, folks, look at what's going on today. Lawlessness is everywhere. Now, people think that's kind of descending into hell, but there's another way of looking at this. Spirits have no laws. We have no need of them. But a soul does. A spirit can lose its soul and become soulless. Souls cannot ascend to all other realms or dimensions, whereas spirits are limitless. The thought would say as well is that a soul is a burden to the spirit. That the soul gets its energy from the spirit. Apparently, this energy is of such a unique substance that the soul is able to continue, even separated from its spirit. Now, it's somewhat controversial. What would be to say, well, souls cannot ascend to all the other realms. I don't believe they can either. I don't think that they can. I think souls are very much limited. It very well may be that the reason you see so many souls without their spirits is that the spirit sheds the soul. Now, as consciousness is concerned, does the soul have consciousness? Does the spirit require consciousness? It's hard for us to fathom the thought that a spirit without consciousness, but I do believe it's very possible. We, in our natural nature, our original forms, may be so foreign to us and our minds because the soul was never created as the spirit just is. Maybe the symbiotic relationship is one that there comes a point where much like a cocoon, the spirit sheds off that which it enveloped itself in. So how does the soul continue? Well, maybe that's where the paranormal comes in. Maybe this other realm is a realm of vast confusion. When you think about yourself and where your thoughts originate from, who are originating those thoughts? Is it the soul or is it the spirit? Who is in the wheelhouse? Who's the captain? Who's driving the vessel? And if you disagree, then why is it that every religion wants your soul? They don't want your spirit. They want your soul. There must be something that's not being taught if you believe there is a soul. Many do not. But if we associate the soul with the mind, well, then the mind merely is part of this physical apparatus. And if it goes away, so would the mind. It would not have the ability to generate new ideas, new experiences, new thoughts. Where the spirit is limitless. Could be then the debate, then what is thought? Where does it come in? Is that organic? Is that original? This realm here is definitely unique, to say the least. We don't have the memory, and I think we do that on purpose to ourselves. Because I do believe that these minds, maybe even the soul itself, they are limited. And for us to bring in an experience that would have absolutely no logic, no relationship with this realm would be illogical. We would reject it. That's not real. Sure. No spirit knows who created us. Spirits have no beginnings. Beginnings as endings are linked to time. As energy, who take the form as spirit, the concept of a beginning is not known to spirit. We are beyond the constraints of time or of the need of a single creator. Why? We are the creator. That's the only freaking answer that makes sense. A singularity of a single creator is nonsense. Again, we build these constructs of a supposed sentient intelligence that knows everything. That's impossible. No way any God could be omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent. I challenge that. If this God knows everything, then it's a sick puppy. Again, you take time out, prophecy has no foundation, no worth. And the reason that we get confused is that we cannot accept the fact that we are the creator. We don't need to go looking for one. We are the one. We is both singular and plural. It's beyond many people's ability to even fathom of a realm where there is no time. Because we are so limited on this thing, and we get hung up with this thing called life. We really think, as a species, we really think we know what life is. I contend we don't know anything about life. I believe our basic foundation is flawed. As spirit energy, time is not relevant. As energy, there is no need for a past. What does a past do? Or a future. Why would we be concerned about a future? We are. That's above the past. It's above the future. There is only now, which has no beginning or end. Time is not relevant. And here's a clue. Time is death. Death is life. Life is linked to time. There is only the now. As beings, as energy, above time, space, these are useless constructs. We don't measure things. We don't need to. It is only where death is present are you going to find time. You're going to find records. Why? Because the records are all the dead voices of the past. We have no need of the past. We have no need of the future. The future is what? Is it a prediction of the future of events? How does, you begin to look into this thing and future becomes very ambiguous. It really does. This death realm that we mistakenly call life is a most exciting experience. When you consider the millisecond a cell is brought forth, it begins to die. And by dividing itself, it perpetuates death so that death continues to have life. What is more lasting, life or death? If eternity exists, then what is the natural state of eternity? Is it death or is it life? Does death require life? Can death exist without time? Everything here must feed upon the death of something. The ground we grow our food is merely the dead remains of those that were alive at one time but are now dead. We must feed upon the dead here in order to exist here. Now that's some weird existence, isn't it? We have to consume death. Our bodies, as I am speaking and as you are listening, is dying. So what happens when the free radicals begin to destroy the DNA code and you begin to age? You're dying. Every one of us is dying. Yet, we have doctors and we have all medicine to what? To fight off death. But death is the eventuality, no matter how you live it or look at it. Death. Death is superior to life. Life requires death. And without time, death would have no purpose or reason. Now, you have to ask, why would a sentient, intelligent being want to come here to experiencing something as life or death? Why would we do that? What if life is as foreign to us as death is? We look at this realm with fascination. I don't know who the architect was. Don't really care, to be candid with you. But I can tell you, we've all, or at least I have, and I know others of you have, we experiencing ourselves and our thoughts like we're hovering outside. We're not all the way inside. And many of us, we have this way that we can perceive this death, life, this time from multiple perspectives. And it's fascinating. So what if life is really the result of the more powerful state of being, death? Think about it as energy. Would we even care what life is? We exist outside of time. So what if this realm is where life and death exist and not in any other realm or dimension? What if that is the purpose and reason for us coming here, to simply experience both? It would change the whole way that we perceive death as a species. We would understand that it's not an end. It's really not a beginning. It's a continuation. And what if we, in our natural states of being, find this more entertaining, stimulating than in our natural form? I mean, it's the experience of a lifetime. To exist outside time, would you really need to be all knowing? What would be the purpose? What would the purpose be to know everything? What need would it serve a spirit energy being to know the future means you're trapped? The future merely is defining what it's trying to make the now. And this now thing is big. Again, I revert to my training. I know exactly now faith is. It's a key there. It's only when you get further down the freaking road, you're going, what the son of a bitch, If I could only have freaking saw that. Yeah, I'm almost done here. This realm needs energy to exist. Without it, it would cease. We are the source of energy for this realm. We share a symbiotic existence with death and life. We supply the energy, and they supply the experience that is custom made individually for each of us. And as spirit beings, it is an experience unlike any other one, or in any other realm or dimension. We provide the energy for this thing called death, this thing called life. It has to have us in order for its existence. And again, it's a symbiotic relationship. Maybe that's the reason many of us have come in back to this realm so for eons. And no matter what happens, because we really don't care. It's the experience. If you fucking hit it lucky, then you're going to go, man, was that a fucking far out trip? If you got a shitty end of the deal, you're still going to love it because it's better than nothing. And that's what may be defined as from where we come from. Nothing. It's not nothing. Very well is the void. But think about it. We bring the energy to this thing called death. And from death, it gives life. And from life, it knows that it's limited because it came from death. And we supply the energy for both. There we go. Those are my thoughts for this day. So, Gaia says it's a ride. So anyway, there's my thoughts. I mean, you have your own. That's cool. It's just that I really enjoy writing them down because when you write your thoughts down, particularly in this type of arena, I mean, it's stimulating. It makes sense in a lot of ways. And that's why you have religion and politics and everything else that they capitalize on the death thing. And then you get to the soul thing, and it gets so confusing and so convoluted at the point where you completely forget. But if you start having that moment of clarity, now, whether some people would say that this is complete foolishness, others would say what's fucking brilliant. Just my thoughts. And as you can see, I think about these things deeply. And if I truly am a spirit being, then I truly am energy. And that I can measure. Then it certainly opens up the broad possibility that the rest of this very well could be the fact. Nina says, Happy Canada Day. Hey, cowboy, what's up? Mary Wins, how are you, darling? Red Honey, hello. And lots of you people here. Dragon Sage, thank you. Honored. Cool thesis. And that's what it is. It's just the R. Wayne Steiger thesis. Graham, Oh, thank you, sir. I love that. Lilith, how are you doing, darling? Off the hook. Hello, the doctor. Thank you. Baranza, how are you, my dear? So good to see you. Much love. Lauren, how are you as well? So, anyway, I guess that's why you listen to me, but these are my ideas, and they've developed because of the journey most of us have been on together here. Love to hear yours. You know, give me your comments on what you think. You know, as long as we don't make it a religion. I'm glad to hear that, Lauren. So good to hear that, sweetheart. Hey, Trina, be seeing you tomorrow, honey. Guy, how are you? And Paul and Deborah, good to see you. Jackie, yeah, there we go. So it's been a far out time. Um, I hope you've enjoyed it. And, you know, hey, I believed in a ambiguous construct for nearly 50 years about my soul, about my future. And what I found out is that no one can predict your future. Only you. That's the interesting thing. And I do have this sense that when we all make that transition, and we all do, that I don't know. I think carrying this is kind of like it's a Swiss Army knife. It may come in very handy. We might need that Phillips head screw, driver. Hey, Paul Joe, good to see you. Uh, Trina, much love to you, darling. Rules on the ranch. No politics or religion talk. There you go. Exactly. Exactly. We can definitely, I mean, we can get enough mind candy and, have a freaking, you know, mind coitus time, Yeah, there's the adventure. So, all right. Dragon Sage says there's still time to change the road you're on. Yeah, I kind of like that stairway to heaven thing. That'll carry with all of us in our generation. I mean, we're going to be out there in the cosmos, and then we're going to suddenly remember when we saw Led Zeppelin and how many times we heard it on the radio, the Stairway to Heaven, and the next thing you know, boom, you're brought back, and it transcends time, space. I mean, it's like boom, instantly, and you find yourself back there again, and you find out that it's just a menage a trois of, there's so many different images at so many different times that you heard the same energy. No. That's what I call an acid trip. A flashback for certain. All right, everybody, smoke on the water. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Who can you not remember that? Yeah. Jeez. All right, everybody. Much love to you. Have yourselves a fabulous day. I shall. And I hope to be here. I have a doctor's appointment in the morning, but I'll get back in time, Trina and Jenny. So we'll have a fun. We're going to talk about the soul and the spirit tomorrow. Because Trina, I'd love to hear your take on it, and Jenny as well. And if y'all have any type of questions on that, let me know. Put it down below. All right. Hey, Saul, what's happening? Uh, I have a question. I have seen two different. I'm not reading that correct. Email me. All right. Much love, everyone. Peace out. And thank you for tuning in and turning on. Until we meet again,